A very good afternoon to you, our listeners and our viewers once again. It's always exciting to come your way every Wednesday with Masterclass. You're here on your Superstation Joy 99.7. And here's another edition of Masterclass. Masterclass is powered by Joy Business, and this program comes your way every Wednesday at 1:15 p.m. and runs all the way through to 2 p.m. here on your Superstation Joy 99.7. My name is Yabanafo, and I'm your host for the show. This is a new month of October, 3rd of October today it is. We're almost at the end of the year. Like I always say, if you've got something to do, if you've planned to do something for this year, 2018, time is not out yet. If you have not started, it's never too late to start. By all means, pick up that note, pick up that thing, that project, and start. Our prayer on the show, as has always been, is that God bless our homeland, Ghana, and definitely make our nation great and strong. And so on this note, we welcome you once again to Masterclass. This is a new month, and so we start with a completely new discussion and a topic area, always with the aim to help your business to grow and to help Ghana become great. Interesting topic we have this month. We're going to be talking about PR, public relations. I'm sure you've heard about it a lot, PR, public relations. We're going to be finding out what it's about, who started PR, why we even need it in our businesses. We're going to be looking at the value proposition of PR to our businesses. We'll be looking at some misconceptions on PR, and we'll be looking to understand what PR is and what PR is not. Essentially, this is going to be a very good discussion. So once we open the phone lines, we'd like for you to start sharing your thoughts. Like we always say, your experiences are valued because we can't teach your experiences here in the studio. So by all means, share your experiences. The WhatsApp lines are 0244 340 437. By all means, send out your messages to us and your comments so that we can use those comments to help with the show. In the studio with us today, we have the founding partner of Mahogany Consult and the principal consultant of that company since 2012. She does have a very rich expertise in communication strategy and business consulting, and she's worked on many brands including Siemens, PZ Cussons, FBN Bank, Express Gas, and a few other companies, New Crystal Hospitals, British Airways, Tigo, Stanbic, and the list goes on and on. We'll be finding out a bit more about her personal life very shortly. Oh yes, it's a she. And my resource person for the next 4 weeks is in the person of Issy Asuman-Johnson. Issy, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Yao.
I'm excited that you're here, essentially because you are a true PR person through and through, yes?
Yeah, well, yes.
Okay, so, we're going to be talking about what PR is, how it's going to help our businesses, what it is not. Mm-hmm. And so, coming here onto the show, I did a bit of research, but before we go into the details of what we're going to be doing today, we just like to find out a bit about our resource person. We always like to do that for just 30 seconds so that our audience can connect. Mm-hmm. So, just very briefly, who's Issy Asuman-Johnson? Football club, hobbies, music, stuff like that, yes.
Well, I enjoy football, but I'm not an ardent fan, so I don't have any team. And my hobbies, I love reading, music, I like singing. I'm in a choir. So
right.
I enjoy good music.
Okay.
Yeah, and in terms of my favorite artist, for now I think I'm enjoying Joe Mettle.
Okay, it's doing well. It's doing well. Which of his tracks do you like most?
Actually, like the new one, You're My Everything, and Bononi was a hit.
It was a hit,
and
yes.
Owawani, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, time check in the studio, 19 minutes past the hour of 1. If you've just tuned in, you're live on your Superstation Joy 99.7, and this is Masterclass. We have here in the studio with us Issy Asuman-Johnson, and in the next couple of weeks, we'll be discussing the all-important topic of PR and your business, the importance of PR and your business. We'd like to set the theme for today's discussion. We want to play a quick song from Joe Mettle. This one says, My Everything. Let's take a listen.
Jesus, you're my everything, yeah. My everything is you, Lord. Everybody say,
How can I express my gratitude
for all the many things,
all the many things you've done for me?
words are not enough,
Words are not
yeah.
enough to say thank you.
Say, Lord, you are my everything.
You're
Right, that was My Everything by Joe Metal. My Everything by Joe Metal. If you just tuned in, this is Masterclass here on your Superstation, Joy 99.7, and we're discussing PR and your business, public relations. We have here in the studio with us Issy Asuman Johnson for today and the next couple of weeks, and we're discussing PR. What is PR not, and why do you need PR for your business? And then we can also go ahead and clear some misconceptions about PR. We will be opening the phone lines at some point in the show, but you can start sending your comments ahead on 0244 340 437. That's 0244 340 437. Do you have PR for your business? Do you not have PR? Have you heard about it? How has it helped? How has it not helped? So people have various misconceptions about PR. What are your misconceptions about PR? Let's discuss these things together. Pick up the phone, give us a call, or send your thoughts or your comments on our WhatsApp line, and then we can share and all become better for it. So, Issy, before the show, I did quite a bit of research, and I believe that we all agree that the father of PR is Edward Louis Bernays.
Yes.
Okay, I got that one correct.
Yes, you did.
Australian-American, born in 1891 and died in 1995. I found an interesting word on his obituary, and they said he was the pioneer in the field of PR and propaganda. And so I will come back to that question. Is PR the same as propaganda? If they are not, what is the difference between the two? But I also found out some comments by different people in society, actresses, specialists in quantum mechanics, professors in some universities in America, University of Chicago. And here's what they had to say. This one is from Daniel J. Bostin. He's an American historian in the University of Chicago. And he says, some are born great. Some achieve greatness. And some people hire public relations experts. I would say that's sort of a tongue-in-cheek statement right there. And again, I assume that this would come to the misconceptions when you're dealing with it. Richard Feynman also says that. Richard is a specialist in quantum mechanics. He says, reality must take precedence over public relations, for nature cannot be fooled. Again, you find a sort of aversion towards public relations. He says, reality must take precedence over public relations, for nature cannot be fooled. I don't know what his experience has been. And then you've got Heather Brooke, who's an actress. And this is what Heather says. Heather says, public relations is at its best promotion or manipulation. At worst, it is evasion and outright deception. What it is never about is a free flow of information. I didn't deliberately choose these three people, but I'm assuming that it will help to clear.
Yes.
So let's go back to my first question. What is PR? And then let's answer the relationship between PR and propaganda.
All right.
Yeah, but in answering those questions, I will let you go for a while. I mean, you tell us what you have for us today, essentially in the areas of the values of PR to business, as you answer that question, understanding what PR is, and then you can go straight to the misconceptions, and then we'll open the phone lines at some point. Yeah.
I think it would be good to start from the misconceptions or the wrong impressions that people have about PR. So a story is told of 6 blind men and an elephant. And each of the blind men was asked to feel a part of the elephant. So one of them felt the tusk and felt that an elephant is a spear. Okay. Then another felt the tail and said it's a rope. Another felt the leg and said it's a tree. Yet another felt the side and said it's a wall. And then another one also felt the ear and said it's a fan. Now, clearly you see that because they were blind and they could not see the picture, they didn't realize that, well, they were not touching a tusk or a spear or a rope or anything. But actually what they were looking at was an elephant. And that's what happens with PR sometimes. And as you've rightly said, people have misconceptions about it. People think that PR perhaps is just about special events because that's what they see, launches, award ceremonies, conferences. And at those events, they see that the spokespeople have speeches written for them. So people think that when you think PR, it's about organizing an event, perhaps just going the extra mile of writing a speech for a few people. Others also equate PR to just media relations and publicity. So when they want news about the organization or their brand in the media, they'll call on PR people to help them do that, whether on radio or TV. Others also think that PR is all about crisis management. And so PR people only show up, usually you don't see them, And when there's a crisis, they come up and they speak for the organization. And related to the crisis is one of the misconceptions you talked about. They think it's about spin, it's about deception and lies because the organization probably doesn't want to tell the truth. On the contrary, PR practice actually requires honesty, accuracy, verifiable performance, fairness. These are some of the values that underpin PR practice. Okay, and so it is not about deception. And as we go on and we understand what it is, we realize that in PR you cannot deceive. It's about, just even think about the name, relations with the public. Relations suggest relationship. And so in any relationship, when there's mistrust, clearly that relationship will fall apart. And then some also think that PR is simply a feel-good endeavor. So through the donation of a few items to an orphanage or through a community service, and you gain goodwill, that is PR. And then some also think that, well, PR is for the big businesses. It's not for a startup. It's not for an SME. No, I think last month during the conversations on social media, and by the way, social media is a PR tool. PR people use social media a lot. We learned that all you need to spend is your data, and you have your idea, and you can promote your business on social media. Okay, so these are some of the misconceptions that people have about PR. But let me give you a definition that renowned PR scholars have come up and we've accepted. So we have these scholars, Scott Cutlip, Alan Center, and Glenn Broom. We can look them up. Now, they have defined PR as this. They say it's the management function, and I want us to note management, that identifies, establishes and maintains mutually beneficial relationships between an organization and the various publics, or for our purposes we can say various stakeholders upon whom the success or failure depends. And so by this very definition, which has been refined over the years, and I want to then take you back to what Edward Bernays had said about propaganda. And if we understand propaganda even from a layman's point of view, propaganda can be a bit misleading. It's one way. It's intended to influence. And when you want to influence or, as it were, condition someone's mind, you're not open for conversation. You don't want feedback. You don't want them to share their views. But over the years, after having practiced PR, having, tried it and tested it, PR people have come to realize that in order for us to build meaningful relationships, there has to be a mutual exchange because it's a relationship. So I have an idea, you have an idea, and we come to a consensus. And so as an organization, for example, let's use a CSR endeavor. You cannot decide that I think this community needs water, and so I'm going to provide them with water. You need to find out what it is they need and come to an agreement so that there's an acceptance for what you're doing for them. Okay, and going back to the definition, I know that when it comes to businesses, we all focus on the customer. And actually this month is Customer Service Month. And we say the customer is king. And yes, it is, rightly so, because the customer has the purchasing power. And the customer is the one who's patronizing your products and services. But PR is coming from a point of view that in addition to your customer, there are several other groups who are called your stakeholders or your publics who have or play a very critical role. And as the definition says, their actions or inactions can affect your business. So who are they? So listen to this. There's a guy called Brad Rawlings, not our former president. So he came up with a very apt description, and there are so many categorizations of who these stakeholders or publics are. So he says that every organization has what we call enabling stakeholders. And these are stakeholders who give the company the autonomy to exist. So for every business in Ghana, at the least, you have to be registered with the Registrars General. And now GRA is very important because without these two, really, what right do you have doing good business, okay? So you have that. Then you have what we call functional stakeholders. Now, these are divided into two. You have input stakeholders, and they are those who provide the labor and the resources. So here you have your employees. And then you have your vendors or business partners, okay? They are providing you with what you need to produce your product or your service. Then the other part of the functional stakeholders are the output. So that's where our almighty customers come in because they are consuming your product. Then again, you have normative stakeholders. He says these stakeholders refer to those you share a common interest with. So I'm from a public relations industry, so I would belong to Institute of Public Relations, IPR. I'm a member of AGI because I'm a made in Ghana company. I believe strongly in that.
Yeah.
Okay, so depending on your sector of business, you belong to one group or the other, and these also include your competitors. And the good thing about these normative stakeholders is that on one hand they're your friends, on another hand they're your competitors. See, we're all competing for clients and customers, but today, if there is a law that works against the practice of PR, we'll all have to come together and fight that law.
That's correct.
or advocate for a better law that will favor us, okay? Then there's a very last group he calls diffuse stakeholders. And this is quite a broad group, so the name suggests diffuse. And here you have the media, you have family of your employees, you have the community or special interest groups that arise as a result of what you do. And usually you have sort of infrequent communication with these groups. But from what I have explained, you realize then that PR, it's not just about your customers. And that's what I want to harp on to a lot of our businesses, that the customer is very important. But we need to pay attention to all these others. And we have a very good example right now. An example that's in the public domain, this issue with Men's Gold. Men's Gold regulator is the Bank of Ghana and Securities and Exchange Commission. And clearly the relationship between that organization and these two regulators have gone awry. There is an issue, and we're seeing what the implications of that problem on the business of Men's Gold. So we can't overlook all these stakeholders. We need to pay attention to them, and as a business decide how are we going to relate to them. And I think one question maybe that's running through your mind is that, okay, but the PR person is not the one who interfaces with customers. You have relationship managers, you have your client service people. You would say that, okay, but we have HR people who are dealing with staff, or procurement deals with vendors. Yes, so that's why at the beginning I said, let's note that it's a management function. So that means that it must be owned from the top. The CEO, management has to be part of it, and PR must be part of management. So that in a management meeting, for example, so let's go back to our example that everyone is familiar with. It comes up that, an issue is coming up with the Bank of Ghana and Securities and Exchange Commission. PR then flags it, and together with the experts or the technical people who deal with these institutions would team up and find a way of resolving the issue. So from this you can see clearly that PR is not about propaganda. It cannot be, because you need to foster that mutual exchange. And going back to that definition of the person, I didn't get the name, said nature cannot be fooled.
Well, I think this one was Daniel J. Boston.
Okay.
No, sorry, it was Richard P. Feynman.
Okay. But then, so from a literal point of view, so let's say you have a plant and it's lived, and you've planted it in the soil, and the soil is clearly bad. So that's nature. But you realize that through application of manure and certain processes, you can improve that soil. So nature, in quotes, can be fooled. And in this case, when it comes to public relations, through that deliberate, proactive engagement with your stakeholders, you can change things. You can change things for the better.
Right. Very exciting discussion here in the studio. If you've just joined us, you're live here on your superstation, Joy 99.7, and we're here with AC Asuman Johnson discussing PR and your business. Very thought-provoking discussions, misconceptions, proposals, counter-proposals. Time check in the studio, 36 minutes past the hour of 1. I want to open the phone lines, so that we can all begin to share and ask questions about what's going on, what your personal experience have been. But we'll take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. When we come back, we open the phone lines.
The masterclass is in session, and you can interact with us via Facebook at Joy Business or at Joy 99.7 FM. And if you tweet, the handle is at Joy 997 FM. Don't forget to hashtag masterclass. You can also send us a text on 1422 across all networks, or join the WhatsApp conversation on 0244 340437, and our facilitators will address your concerns. Attention everyone, class is in progress.
Right, if you just tuned in, this is Masterclass here on your superstation, and we're discussing PR and your business. Time check in the studio, 37 minutes past the hour of 1. We'll open the phone lines now. We want to hear your thoughts. Numbers to call 0302 216 541. That's 0302 216 541. What is PR? What has your experience been? Do you have PR for your business? Is it outsourced? Is it in-house? How does it even operate? Do you understand it? Is it the same as propaganda? Are you perhaps the PR officer for your company? You need some answers, some questions answered. Give us a call here on the show. We want to hear what your experience has been or what your questions are, because in answering those questions, we all become better for it and we make Ghana better. Numbers to call 0302 216 541. That's 0302 216 541. You can send us a WhatsApp on 0244 340 437. There's sort of, PR is something that sort of divides opinion in many circles. And so we really want to hear what you have to say. We have with us in the studio Issy Asuman Johnson, sharing some thoughts with us on public relations. She is an expert in public relations. So I have one here, Issy. I have one for you from, this one on social media. This one says, I am Wizzy Ahiable, PRO of one of the NHIS offices in Ghana, and I want to know the difference between PR and publicity.
Well, so that's a very good question, and it still feeds into some of the misconceptions, and I think I addressed it earlier on.
Okay, just before you answer that question, let's take another one. I've got Benji from Kolebu on the line. Okay. Let's take both questions, and then we'll try and answer them together. Good afternoon, Benji. You're welcome to Masterclass. Oh, I just lost Benji. Benji, if you're listening to me, please give us a call back. We definitely want to hear what you have to say. So let's try and answer Wizzy's question.
Okay, so as I said earlier on, PR is about building mutually beneficial relationships with your stakeholders. And publicity is one of the strategies that PR people use to build that relationship between the organization and your stakeholders. Now, what is publicity? Sometimes we think that publicity refers to a flyer, a poster, or a billboard. So we say, let's create publicity materials. No, on the contrary, publicity refers to the news that you get from the media. And you may call for publicity or you may not call for it. So when you have a company event and you invite the media to cover it, the story that comes out, whether on TV or radio, in print, is publicity. And you called for it. But the media can also decide that they're writing a story on you. Perhaps you're involved in a community activation and they want to congratulate you, or there is an issue. And the news media writes a story and you're mentioned in it. That is publicity. And publicity can be earned, can be controlled or not controlled. And so when it comes to publicity, really, we're not talking about the flyers or anything, but it's a strategy that you can use to build a relationship. And it's about information. What is a news story? It's about information about what the organization is doing. It could be information about a new product you've launched. And it's important that organizations pay attention to publicity. And it's very linked to media relations. Because when you talk about media relations, we're looking at the organization's relationship with the media. Who own these channels of communication? And so in order to ensure that the story that is going out about your company through publicity is accurate, when the media come for your event, why don't you give them a backgrounder? Why don't you make sure that you've spelled out the names correctly? Why don't you give them more facts? Grant them an interview if they want to clarify the facts so that the story out there about your organization is the truth, or it's accurate, or how you want to.
Would I therefore be wrong to say that, or to attempt to say that PR is a process, while publicity is what?
Like an end.
An end to itself.
An end, yes.
Okay, pretty much. I've got Isaac from Spintex. Okay, and I've also got Jason from Spintex. So let's talk to Jason from Spintex, and then we'll do Isaac from Spintex. Good afternoon, Jason. You're welcome to Masterclass.
Good afternoon.
Talk to me, Jason.
Yeah, I want to know whether public relations are to always impress the public or...
Jason, I think you should move away from your radio set just a little bit for me. I'm getting some feedback here.
Okay.
Yes, it's better now. Please go ahead. Hello, Jason.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead. It's better now.
Yeah. Like what I was saying is, I want to know whether public relations are to really tell what is actually happening in the organization, or they should just impress the public. Because I was once working in a bank, which I won't mention the name of the bank, and there was this screen which went off, like where we put the forex rate. It went off, and I said it. Like, I told a customer that, oh, the screen is off. The relations officer came to tell me that I shouldn't say that. I should tell them that the screen is blurred. That's why it's off. But meanwhile, the screen was spoiled.
Was spoiled. Okay.
Get the point. Yes. So it's like, I want to know whether public relations is just to impress the public or to tell what is actually on the ground, because he was saying that as a PRO, you should be loyal, you should be honest, and all those things. But what I experienced there, it's not like they were not being honest.
Right. Jason, please keep listening. We'll try and answer that question for you. I'm just going to ask another question on top of that very quickly. And so you remember we're talking about Richard Feynman, who said reality must take precedence over public relations. Linking that to what Jason just spoke about, I was going to ask about reality. Whose reality? And when we talk about honesty and truth, is it half-truths or the way you want it to sound? He gave a clear example. The thing went off. He says, his superior says, don't tell the customer is off. Tell the customer is bled. Let's answer Jason's question, then we'll come to Isaac from Spitex.
So I'm really happy that this example has come up. And even when we trace the history, as I explained, it's moved from propaganda, something that is misleading. And when we go back to the definition, it's about building a mutually rewarding relationship with your stakeholders. And I mentioned again that some of the values that underlie PR practice is honesty. And so true PR practice does not thrive on lies. And so in this situation, the proper thing for the officer to have done was to say and acknowledge the fact that we have a problem and we're going to fix it, because the person was there and could actually see it. Okay. And I'm happy we're having this conversation because we want to clear the misconception. PR does not lie. In a relationship, when you deceive me, with time you're going to lose my trust.
I'll come back to that very shortly. PR does not lie. This one is from Isaac from Spitex. It says, good afternoon. Indeed, I'm extremely enjoying the program on Masterclass. Please, I need a repetition of the term public relations. I suppose he's referring to the definition.
To the definition.
Yes.
Okay, so let me just take that again. And this is by Scott Cutlip, Alan Center, and Glenn Broom. So you can look them up. So it says that it is the management function that identifies, establishes, and maintains mutually beneficial relationships between an organization and the various publics upon whom its success or failure depends. And you can, just to understand the word publics better, you can use stakeholders.
Right.
So I hope you got that.
Okay. Just to put the phone lines out again, 0302-216-541. You can pick up the phone, give us a call. We're discussing PR, public relations and your business. Public relations and your business. Share with us what your thoughts have been, what your comments are, what your personal experience has been. We want to know and understand it so that we can become better for it as a country. If you want to send us a WhatsApp also, you can do that on 0244-340-437. That's 0244-340-437. You were going to tell us about values proposition for PR.
Yes. But even, I guess, before we go that, before we get there, let me come back to the question or the caller's issue about PR not being honest. See, PR people are looking to build the image and the reputation of the organization. And your reputation is built by what you do and what you say. Okay? And if you've understood the value of the relationship with these people, and you realize that underpinning relationships is honesty and transparency, and you've adopted that as a value, you would make sure that your processes are right and you're willing and ready to say when you have gone wrong. There's something in PR called forgivability. And forgivability comes as a result of the company accepting responsibility when things go wrong. Because you're showing respect to the customer or your stakeholders.
Right. I've got a call from Agege Last Stop. Good afternoon, Eko. You're welcome to Masterclass.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Eko, calling from Agege Last Stop.
Right. Eko, talk to me.
Yeah, so your resource person actually said something. He said in PR, we don't lie. We should say that.
Sorry, I'm getting some. If you could just reposition yourself properly and ask your question again.
Is it better?
I'm still getting some shifting around. But okay, you keep listening. We'll try and answer the question. I suppose what he wanted to know was that PR never lies. And so he wanted you to expound on that discussion. So whose truth do you tell? I've got Ajwa from Accra. Let's take Ajwa's question as well, and then we can answer both. Good afternoon, Ajwa. You're welcome to Masterclass.
Thank you. Good afternoon, too.
Right. Talk to me, Ajwa. What do you have for me today?
Yeah, I would want to comment the lady. What's her name again?
AC Asuman Johnson.
And Stacey,
Hello.
kudos to you. You're doing too good.
Thank you. God bless
Yes, I have been introduced to PR. I do not have much of experience in that field, but I seem to have the flair for taking good care of my stakeholders and my publics, and I read around it. So I think my organization decided to push me there, and I'm enjoying it. And what you gave us this afternoon has educated me so much. I'm grateful. I would love to follow you up for a little bit more of tutelage.
I'm open. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us a call, Ajwa. Okay, so I suppose this is the time when, how do people reach you for advice on public relations?
So you can look Mahogany Consult up, www.mahoganyconsult.com.
Right.
And look us up and send us an email, info@mahoganyconsult.com. And I guess after this program, you can call in and you can have my telephone number.
Yeah. Is there a number they can reach directly to you?
Yes, they can. Let me get that.
Okay,
I have not
that's fine.
memorized
That's fine. I've got one for you on social media. Okay, this one says, it's from Felicia at Dadeva. It says, is this program live? Yes, Felicia, we're live on your Superstation Joy 99.7. So please turn your dial there right now, and you can give us a call on 0302-216-541. That's 0302-216-541. Give us a call. We want to hear your thoughts on PR, on what your experiences have been. Otherwise, you can also send us a WhatsApp on 0244-340-437. That's 0244-340-437. Isi, do you have a number for us?
Yes. So
Okay.
you can also reach us on 0302-981-601.
Okay, can you take that again slowly? And this is the number to Mahogany Consult,
Yes.
where AC Isuman Johnson works,
Yes.
and can help you with advice on PR for your company.
Yes.
Right. Please take that.
0302-981-601.
Okay. That's 0302-981-601.
Yes.
Okay. I've got Echo is back on my line. Let's talk to Echo again. Good afternoon, Echo. Thank you for calling back.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me back again. Your resource person mentioned that in PR we don't lie.
Yes.
So I want to ask in the schemes of things where things become very critical and you have to relay or say something about your information, and whatever you are supposed to say might somehow indict the organization you are representing or you are serving.
Yeah.
How do you deal with such a situation? Because immediately you turn facts a little bit. Immediately you alter with facts a bit. You've lied. So how do you deal with that? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please keep listening. That's a very honest question.
Yes, and it's the reality. And as I keep saying, we're guided by honesty and transparency. And so when an organization has erred, it behoves on that organization to gather the courage and say that, yes, we erred, and we admit it and we are sorry. And these are the remedial steps we're taking to correct it. And when you do that, you build trust, you earn confidence. And even that alone instills pride in some of your customers, and they're not going to go away because you've shown them respect.
You mentioned something about forgivability. I mean, prior to coming on air, you did mention something about the PR not only being useful for crisis management. And so would I be right to say that if you've effectively managed your PR tool or function, if and when something genuinely went wrong, depending on how you present it truthfully, there could be forgivability from your stakeholders?
Yes, because one big part of PR is about reputation management and building your reputation. As you continually engage with all these stakeholders, and as you remain true to who you are, your brand, you have brand values. You say you espouse, you are reliable, you have integrity. Consistently, you're forming a reputation, and you're consistent about it. And so when something comes up, they know that this is out of character. And so we are willing to forgive you, and whether or not that forgivability will extend, will be determined on how true you remain to the measures you're going to put in place.
Let me ask this question. Would you say that a good PR person, either in a company or out of a company managing externally for a business, has done a great job when they have directly managed incompetence, I choose that word guidedly, on the part of the company, and so it results in a lot of downtimes? Is that when a PR person is effective, when they're able to continuously manage ineffectiveness, or when, through their own proactivity, they have been able to build brand reputation such that when things go south, there's forgivability? In which of these two scenarios is a PR person most effective?
Can you repeat that again?
Okay, so scenario one, a PR person manages the brand so well, goes out of the way even when there's no crisis, to build brand affinity, brand reputation, top of mind awareness, so customers and stakeholders have this brand up there. If and when something goes south, there's forgivability. Is that when a PR person is most effective? Or scenario two, when the person for whom you are working, the company, repeatedly is ineffective, systems are always down, things are always going south, and you always have to come up there and manage it, treading on the borderline of truths and half-truths, but you're able to get it done anyway. I was tempted to give some examples. Is that when a PR person is most effective? In these two scenarios, when would you say, from your professional experience, that a PR person is most effective?
The first scenario.
Which is when they are proactive.
When you are proactive, and I like that word proactive, because PR is proactive, and especially in dealing with issues and crises. When you have an issue that you do not pay attention to, you don't resolve, it might escalate into a crisis. But when you are proactive and you've done a scan, you've understood your relationship with your customers or your other stakeholders, and you've realized that there's an issue that's festering, and so you take steps to address it. You're being proactive, and clearly you are likely to save yourself from a crisis.
You see, I would like you to repeat this again. Reason being, and correct me if I'm wrong, it is popular opinion that the person who is able to wake up from bed, you wake up, see, there's something wrong, speak to the public. And maybe that thing went wrong because somebody didn't do their job well. And Issy speaks to the public or speaks to the media and speaks fluent English. And by the time she's done, the reporter has no other question to ask. But everybody knows you said a lot, but you said nothing.
Yes. So they're going to...
People seem to think that kind of person is a better PR person than the person you just described.
And like you said, everyone knows that you spoke good English, but there was no substance. And so it will come back to you again.
But it got you off the phone call.
For a while, it will come back again. And so the goal of PR here is to establish a good foundation. Be true to your brand values, be true to who you are, and be consistent about it. So that when there is an issue, and issues can come up, after all, it's a relationship.
Let me ask you this question. I'm sure somebody wants to ask this question, but they haven't been able to call. I think I've got a few more minutes. 0302-216-541. I can take one more call. So if you want to give us a call on 0302-216-541, or send us a WhatsApp on 0244-340-437. If I'm a PR person, I work for an organization, I'm an employee, so I'm not an external consultant. And I find that in the delivery of my work as a PR person, I literally have to lie all the time. I'm using the word lie guidedly. What should I do?
So
I'm not, well, from what you're saying, in that case, I'm not practicing PR. I'm doing something else.
If the organization is not willing to support you, you have to make a judgment call, because it's about values. First, what are your own personal values, and what are the values that are guiding the practice of your profession? So you should be able to perhaps then walk away and make that bold statement. And that bold statement of walking away from a situation where your team is not willing to admit the wrong still goes back to the organization gathering the courage when something goes wrong to say that, what, we erred, but we are very sorry, and this is what we're going to do to fix it.
Bold decisions there.
Very bold decisions.
I've got Wizzy from Wizzy Ahiable again. Wizzy says, can anyone become a PR person, especially those who can speak very well?
So, I'm a lecturer, and sometimes when you ask students, why are you studying PR? They say, well, because I can speak very well. I am eloquent. It's not about being able to speak very well, but actually having substance to what you're saying, okay? And in terms of PR practice, I work in an agency, and so very often you wouldn't see me speaking on behalf of my client. Rather, you might see my client, the CEO, or even the PR person in my client's business during the speaking. When you are within an organization, then you might be the spokesperson, and then you might get to speak. But yes, you need to have a good command of whatever language through which you are communicating with. And so yes, you need those skills, excellent communication skills, a good command over English or whatever language that you need to use. So they are essential skills, but that does not make you a PR person. you need to go through the training.
Right. Okay. This one is from. I don't have a name here. Okay. This one says, "Good afternoon to you and AC. I like the fact that the resource person acknowledged that PR requires one to be truthful, and transparent." This one is from Bernard from Christchurch, Legon.
Bernard.
You know Bernard?
Yes.
Okay. So, AC, in 30 seconds, today we focused on the value or the benefits of PR to our business. We've talked about clear misconceptions about PR. We've also talked about understanding what PR is. What's the takeout from today's discussion? And then once you're done with that, very briefly, let's go on to what we'll be looking forward to in our discussion next week.
All right. So let me harp on the value of PR to business, because I think that if you're a business person, you're listening, you're wondering, okay, what do I stand to gain? And when it comes to businesses, we're always looking at what is the return on my investment. I want quick returns. If I put in 5 cedis, where is the profit of 2 cedis or another 5 cedis? PR helps to attract new business, and it does help you to increase your sales because it enhances your brand communication by creating awareness about your brand and what it does. And it can do this by using tools such as a website, a flyer, press release, staging an event, social media posts. Through all these things, your consumers learn more about your brand, learn more about your products and your services, and that even understanding creates a demand for it. Now, once people understand what PR is, after here, people are going to demand for the service.
By all means.
And this is a PR tool. This interview, this conversation.
Even this is PR.
This is PR.
What are we doing next week?
So, but let me talk about 2 things again before we talk about next week. It increases, also promotes productivity. Because through building good relationships with your employees, you ensure that they are delivering at their topmost best, and there's productivity. And of course, when you effectively and proactively manage your issues and your crisis, you save your bottom line from losing money.
Thank you so much, AC Asuman-Johnson. This has been Masterclass here on your Superstation, discussing the all-important topic of PR. We haven't been able to exhaust all the discussions today, so we continue same time next week, right here on your Superstation. By all means, do make a date with us on Masterclass. Thank you for listening, and see you next week.